Apex has something big planned, as we got quite the surprise when we loaded up the mid-season update and found out that the lore was evolving and setting up something potentially huge. So if you load up Apex right now and happen to play on the Kings Canyon map, you'll notice if you look up, you'll see a giant purple glowing rift taking over the sky. It's a pretty big rift. There's like purple lightning and rocks flying around, and it seems like this is related to Alter. And it's always interesting seeing a big in-game event, and it seems like every other season now in Apex, there's something huge going on in the sky. But we actually have the answers as to what this is, and what Apex might have planned, like an OG Apex mode. So the legends actually have voice lines for this giant glowing rift in the sky of Kings Canyon, and some of them are pretty interesting, and it points out that this isn't related to Wraith, and it's quite clearly related to Alter in some way, as it is a giant purple glowing rift. Here are some of those voice lines.
Why can't things ever be normal?
That rift? Is it Wraiths? No, it's different.
A rift, but it's not from me.
Eyes up. We've got unexplained phenomena. Treat it as hostile.
What in the Outlands is that?
Pretty sure the sky isn't supposed to do that. Tears in the sky. Great. We're all gonna die.
Did you see that? Someone or something must have conjured it. That's an ill omen if ever I saw one.
Are my visual processors working?
Wonder if I should mention this to Wraith.
Weird. That didn't show up on my radar.
Aberrations. One would think Ragnarok were upon us.
Something new. The Thunderdome was the picture of simplicity by comparison.
Anyone else see that? That's not supposed to happen, right?
Well, that's gonna cause some nightmares.
Yikes! That's either really bad or really awesome!
How unusual. Were you expecting this, Dr. Summers?
And I think we can all relate to Rampart on this one.
Okay, I'm gonna ignore that till it goes away. Worked so far.
And I think the voice lines from Alter and Horizon are the most important.
Oh, I think the world is breaking! Oh yeah! That's the beginning of the end. Be glad you're here for it.
Oh my, those rifts. What have we done? No. Do you see that?
So Alter calls this rift the beginning of the end. But what actually caused this giant glowing rift in the sky? Well, in the brand new story chapter, you can see exactly what caused this rift, and it turns out it was Ash. She was snooping around in Horizon's makeshift office when she had some inner conflict with Ashley Reed, obviously the human version of Ash, interfering, and then something pretty bad happens. Take a look.
What a pathetic excuse for a lab. It seems that Alter was telling the truth after all. Perhaps.
Stop! Haven't we caused enough pain?
If she goes back and changes the past, what do you think happens to me?
She wants to see Newton. We stole that from her.
You weak imbecile. Stop this. She abandoned him.
Please.
Enough! Let go!
Let go. Let go.
So as we know, that glowing crystal was a piece of the arc that Alter gave to Horizon, which would allow her to time travel. And since Ash cracked it with her sword, it clearly opened up this giant rift. But as the power of the crystal would allow Horizon to time travel, there's a chance that this rift opens up and maybe warps Kings Canyon back into OG Apex. And I don't know about you, but I would love an OG Apex mode, and this could all be setting up exactly that for next season, or maybe even the season after that. And the reason I say that is because there was code in the files that does suggest some kind of OG Apex mode coming to the game in the future, as Osvaldator did find that OG versions of all of the weapons from Season 2 were added to the game files as separate weapons, meaning the devs were cooking up something to do with OG Apex. And remember, last season season, Apex wasn't in a good way. The player count was at its lowest in years, and they got review bombed because of the Battle Pass change and all of the cheaters, and that would put pressure on the devs to cook up something that would make players happy and bring back old players. And one way to do that, as we've seen with Fortnite, is with an OG mode. When Fortnite OG came out, its player count rocketed, and a lot of players who hadn't touched the game in years came back to try out OG Fortnite, so OG Apex could very well do the same, and this rift could take us exactly there. And here's some nostalgia for you. These were the legends that were only available in OG Apex. Now, I doubt that we'd have only the OG legends, because if we time traveled, the legends would all come with us. But even the Kings Canyon map looked very different. We had Thunderdome and Cascades. Maybe Lifeline would even get her revive shield back, or the gold knockdown shield would give you a self-revive. I'd love an OG mode, and that's where I'd hope this rift takes us. But also remember in Alta's Stories from the Outlands, where at the end she was in an alternate universe of World's Edge where it was all stormy and purple and distorted. That also kind of looks like this. So this rift could also just be the destruction of this universe or dimension, and the legends are going to have to do something to save themselves. So let me know in the comments, what do you think the lore connection with this rift is, and do you think we'll be getting an awesome event in Apex like OG Apex? I mean, the leaks do suggest that something like this is on the way, and I think this could be exactly that. Now, Kings Canyon also isn't the only map that seems to be getting affected in Apex, because for Halloween, on October 15th, we're getting the Techno Terror event, and just like with all other Halloween events in Apex, that means we get a spooky version of one of the maps. An After Dark version of the brand new district map is also on the way, and at first I did think maybe this rift will just follow into the Halloween event, because as you can see, the district map looks super overgrown and is a really spooky purpley skybox, which I think is going to look awesome on that map. The map looks amazing as it is, but this After Dark version looks sick. But then why would the rift be on Kings Canyon if that would turn out to just be the Halloween thing? So that's why I definitely think the rift being on Kings Canyon is a completely separate thing and has more to do with the lore and potentially the OG Apex mode. But I thought I'd show you how cool the new district map is going to look on October 15th for the Halloween event. But for those of you that are excited for OG Apex, remember the developers said in February of 2024 that arenas will potentially return within 12 to 24 months. So we're not very far from potentially getting arenas back, and if Apex are bringing OG Battle Royale, it would make sense for them to follow this up with arenas return. So that's another reason why I do think the developers are considering these nostalgia throwback events as potential for getting more players, since arenas was already mentioned by the developers, so fingers crossed for that portal to take us back in time. Some other things that Apex has planned, apparently we're going to get a knives only TDM mode. Imagine that, team deathmatch with only throwing knives. It's going to be chaos, but you'll be able to hit some pretty nice clips. And we know that Alta is getting the next prestige skin, as that's also in the game files, and that would make sense if in season 23 the lore surrounds Alta and this rift and the time travel, and for her to get a prestige skin at the same time kind of adds up. So I'm excited for what's to come next in season 23 with this giant glowing rift, but let me know your best theories in the comments.